Too close for comfort. Ohio State moves to 4-0, but not without another scare. A car chase through parts of northwest Columbus and surrounding communities ends in a crash, why police believe they may have cracked a series of break-ins. A home damaged by fire 2 years ago still stands with no repairs, why neighbors are upset over this arson eyesore. I'm Adam Arrow. It's all next on Fox 28 News at 10.
Fox 28 News at 10 starts now.
Well, it wasn't pretty, but a win is a win. Urban Meyer earns his fourth victory as head coach of the Buckeyes, pulling away late in the game to dispose of UAB. Fox 28 sports director Clay Hall was there. He's here now with more. Clay?
Yeah, a little bit of a head scratcher. The Buckeyes have finished the non-conference season 4-0, but a tougher than expected day against the University of Alabama, Birmingham. Strike up the band with 105,000 in the house, but it wasn't the Buckeyes who drew first blood today. It's Ben Buchanan back to punt, and here come the Blazers on the block. Nicky Adams will scoop and score 6-0 UAB. The Bucks were down 12-7 second quarter, and who else but quarterback Braxton Miller going the final 12. He's a whirling dervish. How can you stop that? 14-12 Ohio State. Tight game in the final quarter, 21-15 when Miller goes the final yard here to let the crowd exhale. Coach Urban Meyer says don't pay attention to point spreads. It's tough to win a college football game. UAB a 5 touchdown underdog. The Bucks 4-0, 29-15 the final.
But it's glaring obvious that we got to get a lot better. We won't win next week. So enjoy the win tonight. Get back to work. It's Big Ten season, and I might be new to the Big Ten. I'm not new to big-time atmospheres in college football.
And speaking of next week, coming up in sports, Michigan State hosting Eastern Michigan today. I'll show you how they fared. Until then, I'm Clay Hall for the Football Fever.
All right, Clay, thank you. A dangerous crash in Columbus may have broken a case in Upper Arlington. That happened this evening around 6 o'clock at the corner of Ackerman Road in Defiance. Fox 28's Sean Klein in the newsroom tonight, connecting the dots, and has more on how this crash could be connected to several other crimes. Sean?
Yeah, Adam, witnesses tell me that crash was the end of a police chase, and Upper Arlington police officers do have one person in custody being questioned right now about a rash of break-ins. Now, more on that crash in just a second. First, I want to show you this map. This is a map of all the break-ins in Upper Arlington, car break-ins and thefts in just the past month or so. Each of these icons is a location of one of those break-ins. Now, let's get back to that crash. I want to show you the video taken earlier this evening. Witnesses say an Upper Arlington police cruiser was chasing a silver car down Ackerman Road when it hit a gold SUV. Police do have one woman in custody, and again, I'm told she's being questioned about those car break-ins and thefts I just showed you earlier. Police tell me the suspects of those thefts are taking anything from backpacks to laptops, purses, and electronics. Now, so far, no charges have been filed, but police tell me they've been keeping a close eye on these break-ins here, and the car that they've been watching could be the same car that was involved in that crash this evening. Of course, we'll have more on this developing story as soon as it becomes available. For now, in the newsroom, Sean Klein, Fox 28 News.
All right, Sean, thank you. Police are investigating how an ultralight plane crashed in southeastern Franklin County. It happened on a field near Aurora Road and Creekside Parkway in Obetz. The pilot told investigators he crashed due to a prop failure. Troopers say that can be anything related to the construction or mechanics of the plane. That aircraft is a home-built 1980s model. Now, the plane's pilot was not hurt and he was not cited by the State Highway Patrol. The FAA will investigate to determine what may have gone wrong. And the FBI says that they've recovered a 15-year-old girl who went missing from her Alabama home on Monday. Federal agents found 15-year-old Eileen Lander early Saturday morning. Police also took her stepfather and mother into custody. 5 other siblings were also recovered by police. Police in Alabama said the girl was abducted on Monday after she was taken to a doctor's appointment. Chillicothe police need your help solving a unique theft at a gas station. Check this out. Police say a person called the station and said they were members of the gas station's management, and they needed the employee to give money to a person who was to pick it up later. Well, when the woman seen here showed up, she was handed a bag full of cash and walked right out the door. If you have any information, please call Chillicothe Police at 740-773-1191.
Well, we dealt with a few showers throughout the afternoon, and boy, was it windy. Late afternoon, early this evening, we had some gusts over 50 miles an hour. One of those reported out at the OSU airport. Good news is, though, we're starting to see things calm down significantly. You can see that the tower cam not shaking near as much. Wait till we show you the time lapse here in a little bit. It kind of gives you an idea of how windy it was, just in case you didn't hear the wind or weren't outside this afternoon. 52 degrees currently, so still holding on to those temperatures, but at least the wind's calming down, and those temperatures are going to be falling with those winds out of the northwest. 52 in Columbus still. That is tying the warmest spot, also with Groveport, but look off to the north, already 43 in Delaware. Some of those outlying areas may fall into the upper 30s overnight tonight. We'll talk more about those temperatures here in a second, but the good news is the light showers that we had seen pushing their way out of here, but those temperatures are going to be chilly for the overnight hours. We'll let you know how cool we're going to be by tomorrow morning and what day we expect to see maybe a little frost out there that's coming up. Adam?
All right, Andrew, thanks. We'll see you then. A Columbus man is recovering after he was shot outside a North Columbus bar early this morning. That happened just after 1:30 this morning at Tony's Bar on Mays Road. Police say someone walked inside and shot Tony Dobson and ran out. Dobson was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. And police are looking for whoever shot a man outside a home on McAllister Avenue this afternoon. Police say after 31-year-old Twan Barlow was shot, he walked to the area of Mound and 22nd Street and was picked up by someone and taken to the hospital. Right now, he's listed in stable condition. And an update to a story that was breaking news last night here at 10 o'clock. A 50-year-old Columbus man still alive after he was shot multiple times, all while riding his bicycle. As Fox 28's Jen French reports, that man's family can't believe he was able to walk to the front door.
He rides that bike every day. Everybody knows him on the bicycle. That's what he did.
It's how John Ricky Bivens gets around. The 50-year-old doesn't drive.
He wasn't gone but a minute. He had just fixed warming my mom's food up in the microwave and everything, and he went out the door.
But when he came back after 8 that night, he didn't bring his bike with him.
And he said, I've been shot like that. So I immediately run back in the house and I called 911.
Ricky's family thinks he was shot in this alley. That's when he dropped his bike, walked a block, and somehow got to the front lawn.
And it came over, he came right through there. That's what happened.
His family says he was hit at least 4 times, and he tried to tell them what happened before he passed out.
I think it hit us in his bowels or something, had removed part of his liver or something like that.
But Ricky is expected to be okay.
Just walked on home, but it was amazing that he made it home because he could have bled in the alley.
He owns at least 3 bicycles, but police took the one he was riding Friday night for evidence.
Ricky's strong and, he made it. So they said he's going to be all right though.
In Columbus, Jen French, Fox 28 News.
For more than 2 years now, people in Obetz want to get this house either fixed up or torn down. I'm Joe Stahl. I'll explain why.
A group of men spring into action after a jewelry store robbery, how they caught up with the suspect and helped police at the same time. And new tonight, neighbors in one community are fed up with looking at a house that someone torched 2 years ago. That dispute is happening on the 1400 block of McGoffin Avenue in Obetz. Fox 28's Joe Stahl shows us what these people are dealing with.
The remains of these tarps and stuff, they're just in shreds.
Dennis Anderson can't stand this site anymore. In August of 2010, his neighbor's house caught on fire. A faded yet still visible sign on a front window warns people that it may have been intentionally set.
It's been over 2 years now, and it's becoming more and more dilapidated, and we're just very frustrated.
There's a gaping hole in the roof, and the back half is mostly gone. If the sights aren't bad enough,
there was a stench coming from the backyard, and we found out later it was a couple refrigerators full of deer meat.
So this couple wants something done. Dennis Anderson has been sending letters and pictures to some pretty high-ranking people here in Obetz, including the mayor, but so far he feels like he's not making any headway.
I've received response, but no action.
The last letter he got was almost a year ago from the village's building department. It said if the homeowners didn't repair or demolish the house in a reasonable amount of time, then the village would take them to court and have the house knocked down. But so far,
I drive by it and I'm saying, oh boy, you know, it's still there.
It's just a horrible mess to look at.
in Obetz, Joe Stahl, Fox 28 News.
And we spoke with the village administrator today. He tells us there is a pending court case to try and win ownership of that house. He didn't have a time frame, though, on how long that could take. Now, video you have to see of a group of people taking down a robbery suspect in Seattle. Check this out. Witnesses say the man ran out of a jewelry store and shot a security guard who was trying to take him down. And after he was shot, the security guard chased the guy and knocked him down. Then a group of other men jumped on that guy and held him down until police got there and took that suspect into custody. And I have to say, if you have the opportunity to check out the full unedited raw video on one of those Seattle TV sites, well worth your time. It's not often you get to see that up close and personal. It's pretty amazing to watch that unfold.
It's very interesting there. We've seen a lot more of those citizen arrests lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always great video, you know. You show everyone just jumping to action. And great night tonight.
Yeah, beautiful night tonight. Switching to weather. A little cooler. I'm kind of liking the crispness. You can feel the fall almost here.
And blustery this evening. The good news is, though, the winds are calming down a little bit. I wanted to show you the time lapse. And we, as you just saw that moon there behind us, that's about 250,000 miles away. And you notice that it was kind of a little steadier, especially compared to the shoe. This is time lapse again this evening, so it'll be a little shaky. I'm warning you now. But this was about 5 miles away from the station. You can see how much it's shaking around, but the later images here, it's starting to calm down a little bit. The wind slowly calming down. We had gusts, like we said earlier, over 50 miles an hour. So you may have seen a little damage out there with some of those. But the moon, about 250,000 miles away. It's nice and steady there for you this evening. Maybe a little shake to it with the winds coming in at 7 miles per hour up on top of our tower. But we're seeing the winds slowly calming down back to 50 here in Columbus. Some of those outlying areas, though, a little cooler than that. We'll show you some temperatures across the viewing area here in just a second. Clear skies for now. We're going to be seeing those temperatures fall down into the lower 40s. The outlying areas, wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few upper 30s by tomorrow morning. But the clouds going to slowly increase. Maybe a sprinkle tomorrow for a few of us. I think the majority of us will be seeing clear skies. Now again, we're seeing were those light winds coming out of the northwest, slowly calming back down. But as we flip things over to the temperatures, we'll show you that, well, they're starting to cool off. Look at that, 41 right now in Delaware, 47 in Newark, 49 in New Lexington, 52 currently in Logan. So the cooler temperatures in those outlying areas, especially to the north. Again, I think the upper 30s very possible for some of those places. And there's that line of showers that came through. If you went to the OSU game today, like myself, a light shower there by the end of the game. Clear skies on the back of it. That was a cold front that came through, and right after that came through, boy, did those winds pick up behind us. Now, what we're keeping our eye on is off to the north now. A few light showers there through southern Michigan. That little disturbance is going to try to affect us tomorrow. So we'll take you through tomorrow. Starting things off at 6 a.m. Temperatures, again, low 40s for our temperatures here in Columbus. Some of those outlying areas like South Sullivan there dropping down into the upper 30s. So a little cooler there. Let's take you through the day tomorrow. 6 a.m. we'll see the clouds slowly start pushing their way in. By noon, we'll see partly cloudy skies. By 2 o'clock, some of those light spotty showers trying to pop up, but most of the area staying dry. And if we see anything, I think it's going to be a quick sprinkle. If you happen to pick up any rain, it's not going to amount to anything in the rain gauge. New Lexington, maybe a shower there by 4 o'clock as our temperatures warm up back into the low 60s. So not a warm day by any means. It's going to be a cool one for us. Some of the outlying areas there, Marion, maybe only getting up into the upper 50s for the highs tomorrow. So definitely will feel like fall tomorrow. Breezy, about 5 to 10 mile per hour winds, and then clouds still sticking around through tomorrow evening. Tonight, 41 for the overnight low with clear skies. Winds slowly continuing to calm their way down, but chilly by tomorrow morning, especially if you're taking the dog out early in the morning. 61 degrees for the high for the day tomorrow. Again, if you live further off to the north, you may start off in the upper 30s and only get into the upper 50s, so a little cooler there, but it will be a little breezy. Here's your first warning weekly planner. Chilly for your Sunday. Could see a little frost there for Monday morning. Now we're talking about lows in the upper 30s. Some of those outlying areas, again, maybe down into the mid 30s. So watch out for a little frost, especially for Monday. 64 for the high, back up into the low 70s for Tuesday. We'll keep 70s for the highs for the rest of the week, but it does look like we could see a few showers there for late Tuesday into your Wednesday. and we could see another chance for rain once again late Friday into early Saturday. Adam?
All right, Andrew, thank you. Well, when it comes to education here in Ohio, the federal government has given us a C+, but what do you think? Our sister station ABC6 is holding another town hall, this time on education. It's on Monday, September 24th at 7. We'll be discussing many areas of education, including public schools, charter schools, college funding, and levies. Come to the OSU Union and be part of the audience and receive some great gift certificates. If you can't be there, we will stream the event live on our website, abc6onyourside.com. Prisoners in one state could soon be free. The reason behind their early release. And should college students carry guns on campus? The growing argument and the group that hopes to make it a reality. A Michigan jail recommending the release of up to 175 prisoners due to overcrowding. The sheriff in Genesee County wants to release the prisoners who meet the requirements for early release under the state's jail overcrowding law. Those include people who have served most of their sentence and those who have low bonds.
We need a bigger jail. It's that simple. We'll make recommendations for people that have $5,000 bonds or less, people that have served the better part of their sentence.
This is not the first time the Genesee County Jail had an overcrowding issue. In 2007, over 150 inmates were released. A heated debate is growing on college campuses across the country. Should students be allowed to carry concealed weapons? Elizabeth Pran has a look at both sides.
Almost every year, dozens of states debate whether or not college students should be allowed to carry concealed weapons on campus. It's heating up here in Georgia, where students rallied at Georgia Tech this week saying they feel unsafe after several years of violent robberies and attacks on Atlanta campus streets. One student even woke up in his dormitory room to find a gun pointed at his head. The perpetrators robbed him, although he was left unharmed. Students for Concealed Carry is a national group. It advocates concealed weapons on campuses. It organized the day after the Virginia Tech mass shooting back in 2007. But the group now has more than 40,000 student members, and it's active on more than 130 campuses across the nation. Robert Eager represents the group at Georgia Tech, and he says they're working to educate the public and push for law-abiding citizens, which includes students and faculty, to carry guns legally.
Concealed weapons holders are significantly less likely to be arrested or convicted of crimes than the remainder of the population. However, the second they step onto the campus, the argument's made that they become irresponsible and can no longer carry their weapons safely.
We're seeing this debate erupt all over the country. Just months ago, the Colorado Supreme Court ruled in favor of the movement, allowing students to legally carry weapons into the classroom. A year earlier, we saw the same in Utah. However, to match this movement is a group of students who feel that colleges should remain gun-free zones. We spoke with Georgia Tech officials who say they're required to comply with state and university laws, and there will be no guns on campuses until those laws change. In Atlanta, Elizabeth Pran, Fox News.
More jabs on the campaign trail, but not from who you might think. How both vice presidential candidates are verbally sparring this weekend. Is a war imminent? More on the growing tension between Israel and Iran and how it could impact a UN meeting next week in New York City. The Buckeyes moved to 4-0, and it wasn't pretty. Sports Director Clay Hall is back with a full recap of today's Buckeye win. The Senate has voted to fund the federal government for the next 6 months. The bill now goes to the president's desk to be signed and passed into law. The votes were scheduled early this morning to accommodate senators who had campaign duties back in their states and could not return to D.C. until late Friday. The Senate is expected to return to work after the November election. And in vote 2012, it was the battle of the VP candidates Saturday. Joe Biden wrapped up a 2-day trip to New Hampshire while Paul Ryan stumped in Florida. Christina Muchler reports both brought up key topics, including outsourcing, taxes, and leadership in Washington.
Both vice presidential candidates wasted no time hitting the campaign trail this weekend. Paul Ryan took a dig at President Obama at an event in Miami, Florida.
We send presidents to change and fix the mess in Washington. And if this president has admitted that he can't change Washington, then you know what? We need to change presidents.
In New Hampshire, Vice President Biden shot back at the Romney-Ryan campaign.
We're in a position now where the policies they're proposing are just going to take us right back to where we were. We're beginning to make progress. 30 straight months of economic growth. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a long way to go, but we're moving. And they just want to go back.
In his weekly address, President Obama said Congress was to blame for unfinished work.
When they skipped town, members of Congress left a whole bunch of proposals sitting on the table. The American people want to see them passed. But apparently, some members of Congress are more worried about their jobs and their paychecks this campaign season than they are about yours.
While the weekly GOP address showed a different opinion.
People should know that the Republican-led House, on the other hand, met its obligations. Most significantly, it passed a budget to rescue America from a debt crisis.
Where were the presidential candidates themselves? The president headed to Wisconsin, while Mitt Romney stayed out west in California. Christina Muchler, Fox 28 News.
And the Republican presidential campaign is coming back here to Ohio. It starts Monday with Paul Ryan in Lima. Tuesday, Mitt Romney campaigns with Ryan in Cincinnati. Then Romney will hold a rally in Dayton. And Wednesday, Romney will be back here in Central Ohio for an event in Westerville, followed by stops in Cleveland and Toledo. President Obama, meanwhile, will also be back here in Ohio on Wednesday. He'll attend events in the northern part of the state. When we get more details, we'll be sure to pass those along to you. And Fox 28 is your place for Vote 2012 coverage. Our website has a list of stories on everything from the presidential race to local issues. We also have a countdown clock to Election Day. It's all at myfox28columbus.com. Columbus firefighters spent the day in the kitchen to raise money for local school kids. Today, they held their 20th and final pizza bake sale to benefit Charity Newsies. The group has raised more than $150,000 since 1993. The firefighters currently organizing the sale have retired, though, and made plans for this to be the last pizza sale.
I'd like to thank Central Ohio and all the people that come out here and support us. Without them, we're nothing.
Donato's donated the ingredients and use of pizza ovens for the past 15 years. And speaking of good food and great causes, you can help in the fight to cure cancer tomorrow. Grader's is offering a free scoop of Elena's Blueberry Pie ice cream tomorrow from 12 to 5 at all Columbus locations. It's part of their Cones for a Cure event. They'll also be accepting donations for the cure. Starts now as well.
And I can attest that that blueberry pie is absolutely delicious. I've had that before. It's going to be about as chilly as that ice cream this evening. And heading into the overnight hours, we're talking about some locations falling back down into the 30s for those overnight lows. Right now, we're sitting at 50 in Columbus, 41 in Delaware. Another cool spot off to the north there, Mount Vernon, sitting at 43 degrees currently. Winds lightening up a lot compared to what we had seen earlier. As a matter of fact, calm winds in Lancaster. We had gusts over 50 miles an hour, and those winds were going about 30 miles per hour pretty steadily throughout the afternoon. Overnight tonight, we'll see those clear skies stick around. Winds continuing to calm down. Will be a chilly one. Once again, we're going to fall back down in the low 40s. And some of those northern locations may actually get into the upper 30s, even chillier weather on the way for the work week. We'll talk more about that and when our next decent chance for rain returns. That's coming up in your full forecast once again shortly. Adam?
All right, Andrew, thank you. Around the world tonight, a birthday party in the Netherlands turns violent after the Facebook invite for the party goes viral. The teen throwing the birthday party for herself forgot to make the invitation private on the social network, and thousands of people showed up last night. In fact, riot police had to be called in to subdue the crowd. Some officers were hit with bottles and rocks. Tensions are running high between Iran and Israel tonight as the threat of a potential war looms. Rick Leventhal reports things could get interesting when leaders of both countries attend the UN General Assembly next week in New York.
This is a very tense time in Israel as threats continue to fly over the possibility of an Israeli military strike against Iran in the weeks ahead before the U.S. presidential election, November 6th. The leaders of both countries are preparing to attend the UN General Assembly. Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad boarding a plane for New York early Saturday, saying he plans to hold meetings on the ongoing conflict in neighboring Syria. But a military parade in Iran yesterday was a show of force in many ways towards Israel. The Iranian military displaying a new all-Iranian-made air defense system with Rod missiles designed to take out fighter jets, helicopters, cruise missiles, smart bombs, and drones with a range of roughly 30 miles. The head of Iran's Revolutionary Guard predicts these and other missiles will be used to defend against an Israeli attack. He says a war will eventually happen, calling Israel a, quote, shameful and cancerous tumor. Commander Mohammed Ali Jafari says the Zionist regime should know that if it starts something, that will be the point of their annihilation and the end point of their story. Israel says Iran needs to quit its nuclear program, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said he won't wait for the U.S. to act, and he won't necessarily wait for the presidential election to strike Iran. But his efforts to get President Obama to establish red lines for Iran have so far failed. And despite his requests, there is still no meeting scheduled between the Prime Minister and the President in New York next week. In Jerusalem, Rick Leventhal, Fox News.
Soldiers dealing with post-war stress could have a new treatment option, the potential medical breakthrough that could help cure PTSD. And remember, you can watch Fox 28 News anytime on your smartphone. Just go to myfox28columbus.com, click on live video. Post-traumatic stress disorder is becoming all too prevalent among our soldiers. While therapy has been the most common treatment of PTSD, Anna Koyman has more on a doctor's breakthrough that could change how victims are treated.
An estimated 13% of post-9/11 service members have post-traumatic stress disorder, and many aren't getting relief from standard therapy and medications. But there is new hope in a little-known treatment called SGB, or stellate ganglion block. It's an anesthetic injection commonly used in labor epidurals that takes about 15 minutes to administer in the neck. Relief from PTSD symptoms often happens within 30 minutes. Symptoms include anxiety, nightmares, jumpiness, paranoia, irritability, and aggressiveness, which often lead to depression and substance abuse. A Chicago doctor, Eugene Lipov, is championing the treatment and has received a waiver from the FDA to perform SGB. Lipov is currently recruiting participants for a clinical trial.
Sometimes the symptoms start to come back slowly, and then it doesn't usually go from doing really well to really bad. It's intermediate. So once you see that, people call us up and they go, we need our tune-up.
SGB is not backed by the Department of Veterans Affairs for treating PTSD, but Dr. Lipov says the procedure works in 70% of patients, showing at least a 50% improvement in symptoms. The most marked improvement is in sleep, the nightmares going away. The cost of the injection is approximately $1,000 and is fully covered by Dr. Lipov's nonprofit, Chicago Medical Innovations. He has treated 65 patients from 25 states, including Vietnam vet Raleigh Showens.
I was a little apprehensive when I went into it, but no, it's not painful at all. And if I had to do it again, I'd say let's go for it.
Like Showens, patients remain off all related medications following SGB. SGB has historically been used to treat depression, schizophrenia, and psychosis. The treatment has also been successfully applied to women suffering from PTSD as a result of trauma, sexual, and domestic abuse. In New York, Anna Koyman, Fox News.
For the second time in 3 seasons, the Cincinnati Reds are your Central Division champions. How they clinched the title in front of the hometown fans. And it was another nail-biter at the shoe. Clay Hall has more on today's Buckeye victory.
Und zapft es auf eine friedliche Wiesn.
And there you go. The mayor of Munich taps the first keg of Oktoberfest. The city kicking off the 179th traditional German festival today, with more than 6 million people from around the world expected to visit the city. Last year, patrons drank almost 8 million 2-pint mugs of beer. That is a lot of beer. Oktoberfest runs through October 7th. We're going to talk about Oktoberfest instead and then transition to beer.
Hey, I'm always,
got a little excited.
I always will talk about Oktoberfest.
8 million 2-pint mugs. That's a big mug.
I've always wanted to go over there
Almost
to Germany
hurts
for
to think
that.
About. Yeah.
Yeah,
Delicious
I couldn't
though.
imagine. Oh yeah. maybe some bread or some pretzels while you're at it.
Yeah, if you're into beer, you might need one to stay warm tonight. It's going to get cold, huh?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bloated right now. Maybe I'll have someone else to do with it. Let's talk about what we're dealing with. You know what? We had the winds kick up later on this afternoon. I was out at the Buckeyes game, and we even had a light sprinkle there towards the end of the game. If you were leaving the shoe, you might have gotten a little wet there. But the good news is the wind's calming down considerably compared to what they were earlier. Only 7 miles per hour right now. I took a look at some of the wind gusts here across central Ohio. 52 mile per hour was the strongest wind gust reported up at the Delaware airport. But 50 degrees currently. We're seeing those temperatures slowly drop back down. We did hit 71 degrees. If you were out in the sun, you definitely could feel those warmer temperatures. Behind a cloud or two, it felt cooler. But 71 for the high there in Columbus. 74 for the high for the warmest spot here in Groveport. And the winds again out of the northwest, bringing in those cooler temperatures. So we're not going to get into the lower 70s tomorrow. Unfortunately, going to be significantly cooler. Everything dry on your first warning Doppler. A wider view showing that all of Ohio dealing with the dry conditions. So you're not going to worry about any rain. As a matter of fact, we've got clear skies out there for us this evening. Let's talk about what we have on the way. It's going to be chilly by tomorrow morning, chillier than what it was this morning. And also for your Sunday, we're going to be dealing with those chilly temperatures. By Monday morning, it's actually going to be even colder. There's a chance for frost, especially across the north. But we are talking about more rain for the middle part of the week. And once again, for the 4th week in a row, we are talking about more rain for late Friday into Saturday. We'll break that down for you here in the weekly planner in just a few seconds. 50 degrees currently in Columbus, a little cooler off to the north, 44 there in Marion, 43 right now in Delaware. And we're watching all of these temperatures across central Ohio sit in the upper 40s and low 50s currently, but those will be falling as we head in through the rest of this evening. There's those quick passing showers that came through right about late afternoon into the early evening. Now we've got clear skies other than a few clouds trying to pop up down to the south, but it's just going to be a cloud or two. Let's take you through tomorrow. Starting things off 6 a.m. low 40s, some locations like South Sullivan there at about 39 degrees. We'll start off with plenty of sunshine. The clouds slowly pushing their way in. By noon, it looks still dry for us, but an isolated sprinkle possible. You can see it trying to pop up here, and it's going to be hit or miss. Most of us staying dry the entire day tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I'm not even putting in a % chance for rain. It's just going to be a light sprinkle at best for the day tomorrow. We'll warm back into low 60s. So again, we hit 71 for the high today. If you thought today was cool, wait till tomorrow. About 10 degrees cooler for the afternoon. And then as we head in through the later part of the evening tomorrow, still staying dry for us. Setting up to be a pretty sunny Monday for us here in central Ohio. This evening, temperatures falling into the low 40s, calling for an overnight low of about 41 degrees with clear skies and calming winds. They're going to get even calmer than what they already are. 61 for the high tomorrow, so it will be cooler and breezy. Northwest winds at about 5 to 15 miles per hour, but nowhere near as windy as it was today. Here's the first warning weekly planner. Again, a chance for frost for Monday morning with those overnight lows down into the 30s. Some of the places off to the north make it into the mid 30s. Mild for your Tuesday, back in the 70s for the highs, a chance for rain late Tuesday night into Wednesday. And as we said, a 4th week in a row, we could deal with another chance for rain late Friday into early Saturday. I was out there at the shoe today. A win's a win, but didn't look that great, Clay.
Andrew, thank you very much. A good evening to one and all. Ohio State won its 400th game in the shoe today, but hardly a work of art. Bottom line, the Buckeyes are 4-0 and will open the Big Ten season next week in East Lansing. First things first, Urban telling his guys, you better bring the energy or don't go in that locker room. And they promptly got a punt block. Ben Buchanan gets it stuffed, and UAB's Nick Adams scoops and takes the loose change. Goes the final 20 yards, 6-0 Blazers. 9-0 when Braxton Miller got it rolling on the ground. He had 64 yards rushing today, and that set up Rod Smith getting some carries today. Moving up the depth chart for the touchdown, and it was 9-7 UAB. Bucks wanting more. Miller to Philly Brown there, and then Braxton passing for 143, and then this whirling dervish of a move. 14-12 Buckeyes, and they are on the move, we thought. Ohio State scored 3 touchdowns in 5 minutes and 29 seconds. Christian Bryant a big hit. Doran Grant claims the fumble. Nothing like turnovers to make a short field from there. Zach Bourne, the fullback, the senior captain, gets the call. 21-12 Bucks at the break. It was 21-15 until Ohio State finally sealed this game in the 4th quarter. That's Miller for the final yard, and then Meyer opts for the 2-point conversion. Who do you call? Number 5 around the left end. Look at him like, come on, hey, what, you trying to tackle me? What? 29-15 the final. A quick handshake there. The Bucks are 4-0. And a lot of love for UAB assistant John Peterson, who spent the last 8 years at Ohio State. Yep, you can tell the feeling there. The Blazers almost pulled it off. The Bucks, a tough team to figure.
So we seem like a very passive team. We're on defense. We give up little screens, little bubbles. They didn't score a touchdown on our defense, but we give up a lot of yardage. I mean, that hurts to. I mean, I sit there, I'm pained watching it. But we got to be more aggressive on defense and play a little snugger coverage if our corners are as good as they said we think they are.
We don't pick it up. You know, it's practice. Practice come next week, and now we don't prepare for them. So we just got to keep striving for the best.
We got to fix a lot of things: tackling, penalties, stupid penalties at that. Everything else, I think, we just gotta have a great week of practice and get the game plan going in and execute it the best we ever have so far.
Certainly not gloating about this one. Next up, Michigan State's Groveport's Le'Veon Bell. Eastern Michigan visiting Sparty and grabbing an early lead on the touchdown pass, 7-3 Eagles. But the Spartans right the ship here. Andrew Maxwell to Deion Sims in the corner, 16-7 Michigan State, and then Bell got it rolling a little later. My goodness, 36 carries for the young man, 253 yards. The Buckeyes, are you watching? And are you ready for this guy? Michigan State rallies for a 23-7 lead. Crew on the road and needing points to solidify their playoff position. 1-1 in Chicago tonight, and here come the Fire. Beautiful footwork and a dish here to Chris Rolfe. That's the tie-breaking goal just past Andy Grunenbaum. Rolfe in the 26th-minute, 2-1 Fire, the final tonight from the Windy City. Let the party begin for the home team. Just 4 games left in the regular season for the Crew. Well, the expected has happened. The Reds clinched today at home without their skipper Dusty Baker still in a Chicago hospital. The Redlegs, the first team to clinch this season despite Baker's absence. 2-0 Reds in the 7th, and Brandon Phillips rips the ball 429 feet into left field. 3-0 Cincinnati. Aroldis Chapman closed it out. The final out, clinching their second title in 3 seasons. The Reds and Nationals, by the way, tied for baseball's best record with 92 wins on the season. Ohio University now 4-0 thanks to a win over Norfolk State, and Notre Dame close to closing out Michigan in South Bend. I'm Clay Hall, Fox 28 Sports.
All right, one final check of the forecast, and it sounds like all we need to know is it's going to be cold.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be chilly. Into the overnight hours tonight, I think some locations falling into the upper 30s. Here in Columbus, calling for an overnight low of 41 degrees, so definitely will be a chilly Sunday for you. We got up to 71 today, so take off 10 degrees from that. That's what it's going to feel like tomorrow. A chance for frost Monday morning. As we see those overnight lows drop down into the 30s. Some of those outlying areas, especially to the north, may get into the mid-30s, but we'll get back into the 70s. Rain holding off until at least late Tuesday. So next few days still staying dry, but you got to keep that jacket handy because it's not going to be warming up very much.
No, once that sun goes down, it's getting cold. All right, Andrew, thank you. That does it for us. We're back at 11 on ABC. We'll see you then.